Major automakers in the United States are lobbying the Environmental Protection Agency to end tailpipe emissions rules. They think that tailpipe emissions are good for humans, and you should go and put your mouth around a tailpipe and just breathe in that delicious air because it's going to make you feel great. Now, I'm obviously joking, but I find this kind of stuff ridiculous. I think it's shameful. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. Washington just reported a group representing nearly every major automaker asked the Trump administration to roll back vehicle emissions limits that seek to encourage the industry to build more electric cars. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents General Motors, Toyota, the Volkswagen Group, Hyundai, and other major automakers, said in a filing with the Environmental Protection Agency that legislation signed by Donald Trump in June will increase the effective price of EVs and lead to a near-term decline in EV market share. They argue that rules finalized last year under President Joe Biden are no longer feasible. The 2027 and later standards are simply not achievable in light of significant market charging infrastructure, supply chain, affordability, and other challenges, as well as recent policy changes enacted. The 2024 Biden rules aim to cut passenger vehicle fleet-wide tailpipe emissions responsible for cancer and other illnesses by nearly 50% by 2032, compared with 2027 projected levels. The EPA forecast between 35% and 56% of new vehicles sold between 2030 and 2032 will need to be electric to actually hit these targets. On September 30th, the $7,500 EV tax credit expires, and automakers are warning or threatening that a significant portion of automakers may lose a battery production tax credit for EVs, typically worth $3,000 per year under the new rule. So if you include the $7,500 tax hit, plus the $3,000 that EV or companies won't get for making EVs, that means there's a $10,500 hit on EV production in the US. This harms not only the automotive manufacturers that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars investing in electric vehicle technology, but also the entire supply chain that has supported these initiatives, the group said, which I agree with. Absolutely true. So basically they're saying, because you've ended EV incentives, we now can't make EVs and sell them at a nice profit. So you should remove the EPA laws on internal combustion cars, and then we can just go on business as usual, keep on causing massive health problems for people in cities, and make lots of money from V8 engines, because that's what people want, surely. In July, the EPA proposed rescinding the long-standing finding that greenhouse gas emissions endanger human health, removing the legal foundation for all US greenhouse gas regulations, a move that would end current limits on greenhouse gas pollution from vehicles. The EPA is basically committing what I consider to be a significant crime by saying tailpipe emissions do not hurt human health. We know that literally tens of thousands of people die every year directly from tailpipe emissions, nothing else. There is no question of that. Democrats in Congress and environmental groups have called on the EPA to drop its plan and retain the rules. Automakers argue the EPA should still rewrite the Biden rules, change them, make them nice and friendly for automakers, saying they still need to be revised to feasible levels to provide certainty for the industry. The group said such a contingency plan will be critical if motor vehicle GHG standards are retained or reinstated in some way. Basically, the automotive industry, everyone except for Rivian, Lucid, and Tesla, wants to make lots of money by selling internal combustion cars and wants to do so without having to put expensive filtration systems on their exhausts or making their cars more efficient and polluting less. That That would take work. Why should we do that? There is an alternative. They could just make plug-in hybrids. That's a pretty easy thing to do. Somehow the Chinese can do millions of them. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. I'm sure you know someone who would benefit from this message. And let's try and get this news out there. I think a lot of people don't know what's going on in the United States right now with this craziness. The EPA saying that they're changing their statement that tailpipe emissions do not hurt human health. This is complete pseudoscience. In this video, guys, I will provide you with the 10 worst places to live in the United States for pollution. And some of these places are incredibly bad. I'm talking literally triple the pollution in some of these locations, where I honestly think you would have to have sickness come from this. Everyone at some point would become sick as a result of the air quality in these places. If you don't believe me, literally put this data into ChatGPT and see what it tells you. It'll tell you exactly what I'm saying. The 10 worst, basically, cities, and then I'll follow that up with the 10 worst locations, because in some cities, the city's actually not too bad, and it gives you this false perspective, basically false impression, that city's okay. But then there's like little towns in some of these cities, or basically 30% of that city where pollution is staggeringly bad. So my top 10 will be the 10 cities. Then the next 10 will be the 10 locations around the US that you do not want to be living. Remember, this is not based on opinion. These are statistics from the EPA, from various different measuring instruments, which actually show us the data itself. In spite of a growing number of electric cars on the roads in the United States, and more renewable energy being added to the electricity mix, there is still a ton of toxic PM 2.5 emissions and pollution in many cities in the United States. But some cities are actually not bad. Places where you'd see the numbers and think to yourself, yeah, okay, I wouldn't mind living there. That's not going to kill me. I'm not going to get cancer from living there. Other places, if you've seen the numbers, you might want to move. And I'm not exaggerating. I honestly, if I was living in a place, one of these places, I would be looking to move. And I genuinely mean that. You guys know my personal family situation. I'm telling you, the Sydney EV International Motor Show. If you want to get a 50% discount on your tickets, all you got to do, click the link in the description and use the promotion code that's in the description. Just copy and paste that. Now, I should mention there's only 200 tickets available per day. So if you go to use the promo code and you can't get a ticket, wait till the next day. Don't wait until the day before the show to get your tickets, because otherwise you'll probably miss out on getting the 50% discount.